It's draft season again, so that means it's time for the annual bemoaning of how the Cowboys just always screw it up. When the dynasty was fading, they didn't draft Randy Moss. When Troy Aikman was about to retire, they didn't take a flyer on Tom Brady. They took Bobby Carpenter. They took Taco Charlton instead of TJ Watt. This team just keeps messing it up. But do they really? I decided to brute force some numbers here to show you that the Cowboys are actually a very good drafting team. Between 2003 and 2018, that's a good time frame because it's after the awesome drafts of the early 90s and the disastrous drafts of the late 90s. The Cowboys have drafted over 130 players. 59% of those players have played longer than the league average. The league average is 3 seasons. That's not even games, how many games they play. That's just 3 full seasons. 59% of players have played 50 games or more, well over that league average. And that number's going to go a little bit higher as some guys drafted in 2018 will eventually take over there. Not all these guys play for the Cowboys for their careers, but still, when you look at the pure draft talent, over half of the players played longer than the average. Let's go a little bit deeper. Football Outsiders actually graded all the teams by their draft efficiency. When you look at the team's return versus how much capital they had going in, the picks and the locations, between 2010 and 2019, the Cowboys were the third most efficient drafting team in the NFL. So not only do they find a way to get guys who play for a long time, they get good players in the drafts. Now, yes, there's been disasters like we just mentioned, but those disasters are not the Cowboys' stories. They're everyone's stories. A ton of teams passed on Randy Moss. Everybody passed on Tom Brady 6 times. And yeah, the Cowboys screwed up with Taco over TJ. But how many times have the Cowboys taken the right player? People passed on Micah Parsons last year. People passed on Zach Martin. The Cowboys get these guys all of the time. There have been some nightmare seasons. 2009, the Cowboys had 12 draft picks, all of them after the second round, and only 3 played more than 50 games, and all 3 of those guys were pretty much worthless. 8 players played under 12 games. So yes, there have been some truly terrible seasons, but that makes it all the more remarkable that almost 60% of their players have played longer than the league average. You have years like the 2005 sneaky awesome draft where 6 players have played 99 games or more in their career. If anything, they're too good at drafting. They draft these middle of the road, these above average guys, not middle of the road, guys like Byron Jones, guys like Cedric Wilson that they can't hang on to, and they end up shelling out big contracts to Dak and Zeke. So yeah, the Cowboys are good at drafting. Hasn't got them a Super Bowl yet, but don't buy the hype that this team always blows it in the first round.